President Biden is, of course, trying to promote peace between both parties, but it doesn't seem like that's going to work. It wasn't that long ago that the former president, Donald Trump, was brokering peace between Israel and several Arab countries. So what happened? Joining us now to discuss is human rights lawyer and founder of the Lawfare Project, Brooke Goldstein. Thank you very much for joining us, Brooke. We appreciate it. Where are you located? Let people know, our viewers know where you are today.
Well, thank you for having me. I am right now in Israel, where my children have been sleeping in a bomb shelter for the last 5 nights. It's absolutely terrifying. We've been hearing the explosions of the rockets overhead. Over 3,500 rockets have been shot at innocent civilians by the Hamas terrorist group from the Gaza Strip. But I have to say, what is more terrifying than being shot at is seeing the way the mainstream media and certain influencers and U.S. politicians are justifying terrorist attacks against civilians.
Well, talk about that a little bit and give us your personal story, because as I recall, you have a bomb shelter yourself. Do you get notice so that you can utilize that? How is your life playing out right now?
Well, first of all, it is traumatizing. My life is playing out in the sense that we have exactly 60 seconds, sometimes a little over 60 seconds from the time we hear the siren to the time we can run down to the basement, get in the bomb shelter, lock the door, and there we stay with our children as we listen to the very loud explosions and, frankly, pray for our safety and the safety of all of the Israeli civilians, Jewish, Christian, Arab, Muslim civilians included. I cannot even imagine what it's like to be a Palestinian who is being held hostage by the Hamas terrorist group in Gaza, which is using civilians as human shields. I saw a video the other day that was forwarded to me of Hamas terrorists literally using about 15 children to stand behind him as he shot a rocket, and the adult ran away and left the children there because they know the IDF is going to come in and annihilate that threat. And what's so scary, as I mentioned before, is this accusation, well, you know, there's no proportionality. And what that really means is that not enough Jews have died in this conflict, or Israelis have died, to make it fair. That is what the so-called mainstream media is saying right now, and it is absolutely grotesque.
Brooke, talk a little bit more about the response that you've seen in the media from these so-called influencers, clearly not understanding the history of the region or exactly what Hamas is up to, and also some United States lawmakers.
Well, look, they say Israel has the Iron Dome and the Palestinians in Gaza don't. And to that, I say, yes, they do have the Iron Dome. It's called Stop Shooting Rockets. The other ridiculous proposition that's spreading around right now is that the reason this is happening is because of some sort of municipal court decision about land rights, where the Palestinian people who are renting the apartments in Jerusalem did not pay rent. And so it was taken to court. And this somehow justifies stabbing Jews in the street, shooting Jews, lobbing rockets. Frankly, Jews are being attacked all over the world right now. And some sort of municipal court decision is being used as an excuse to do this. It is absolutely outrageous. I want to point out, though, that to be absolutely honest, the world has been justifying pogroms and violent attacks against Jews since before the State of Israel was created. And before the State of Israel was created, when Jews were living in Palestine, Arabs were attacking us. They were attacking us violently, and it was being aided and abetted by the British colonial powers. So right now is no different. It's just the latest excuse, and it is absolute Jew hatred. And it behooves the world to condemn this, not to support it, because what Hamas is doing is testing the Biden administration, which it sees as weak on terror. So we cannot allow this to happen. There has to be a total paradigm shift here.
What do you think the United States, the President Biden, needs to do to help bring this to an end?
You know, it's so interesting that those who claim to say that they support a two-state solution, which, by the way, the term I object to, creating another Islamist dictatorship in a sea of failed Islamic dictatorships is not a solution to anything. But those who say they support the two-state solution at the same time turn around and signal that Israel does not have an absolute right to defend its citizens against terrorist attacks. Obviously, this makes it less likely for the Jewish citizens of Israel to want to pull out of Judea. And if Jews cannot live in Israel, if Jews cannot live in Judea, where we are from, okay, freely and in peace, that our civil rights, our human rights are threatened everywhere. And you see this now. Jews are being attacked in Paris. They're being attacked in New York City. They're being attacked in Toronto. They're being attacked in London. And this is all because of racist Jew hatred. This has nothing to do with politics. So what the Biden administration has to do is stand up firmly and support the right of the Jewish people as a minority community, as the world's oldest, most persecuted minority community, to total safety and security, not just in our homeland, but also throughout the world, and affirm the right of the Jewish people to live wherever they want, freely and in peace.
All right, Brooke, thank you so much, and we hope you have a better night than you've had a lot recently. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.